without LeBron James for the foreseeable future. Last we got reports was that LeBron James would be out at least 3 weeks and then would be reevaluated. Very likely, we're probably looking at his return somewhere around March 26th to the 29th, somewhere around the Bulls game. Ideally, I'd like, at least the 29th game for the Bulls, because after that game, we go and play the Minnesota Timberwolves, which will be a very important game, right? They're a team that's ahead of us in the standings. It'd be nice to have LeBron come back, kind of get a game or two under his belt before we got to go play a team that we absolutely have to beat. So that would be really nice. That would be really helpful. So far, the Lakers have kind of weathered the storm. They are currently 2-2 without LeBron. They lost to the Grizzlies, which I think that they should have beaten. They really should have. Like, that was a game that just felt like if we just did one or two things just slightly better, especially like turnovers and stuff, or one other guy stepped up, that was a game I really felt we could win, especially the Timberwolves game. Same thing. It was all Anthony Davis. If we just got one other guy to really step up, I think we could have won that game. But nonetheless, we ended up beating the Thunder. We ended up beating the Warriors, which was an absolutely huge win. Both of those games were absolutely huge wins, but especially the Warriors. Steph coming back. Steph got hot in the fourth quarter. Usually, more times than not, the Warriors win those games. We were able to weather that storm and end up winning that game. And you also got to keep in mind, we've been doing this without D'Angelo Russell as well. We should hopefully be getting him back soon, which will be a huge boost. And if you look at our schedule coming up, got the Grizzlies, but we caught a little break there. No Ja Morant, no Brandon Clark, although the Grizzlies are still a very good team without Ja Morant. So again, it's not going to be an easy game, but we definitely had a little advantage there, which helps, especially if we can get D'Lo back. And then we have a nice stretch of games to round out our home stand against the Raptors and the Knicks before we go take on the Pelicans. And if you look at our next handful of games, right? Raptors, Knicks, Pelicans, Rockets, Mavericks, Magic, leading into that Suns game, you can make an argument we could win all of those games, right? We should be able to beat the Grizzlies with or without D'Lo and no Ja Morant. The Raptors, they've played much better as of late, but I do think that that's a very winnable game. The Knicks have been the hottest team in the league, but I do think that we can beat the Knicks. Also, we've been the streak killers, right? Memphis, right? They were on like an 11-game win streak. We ended that. The Warriors, we beat them. They go on a 5-game winning streak. We end up beating them again. So that's something else to kind of look forward to. Hopefully the Knicks are still on that streak, so that way they come to LA. They would be on a back-to-back after playing the Clippers. Hopefully they beat the Clippers because that would help us, and then we can beat the Knicks. And then again, that just gets us another full game in the standings. But regardless, we could use LeBron James sooner rather than later. Of course, you don't want to rush him back, but we did get a new update per Shams Charania, which says the Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James has reportedly started rehabbing the tendon injury in his foot, per Shams of The Athletic. While the team already said James will be reevaluated in 3 weeks, it is still too early to tell when exactly he'll return. So what this is it's just a nice little update showing that, okay, LeBron is on track. Right? For one, he's starting to rehab. He's going to start getting his foot right, get everything together. Like Sham said, there's no real sign of when he's going to return. Again, my guess is somewhere around the Bulls game. It could be sooner. It could be later. Obviously, you don't want to have to rush him back too soon. In a perfect world, we are on a run. We are, let's say, the 7th or 8th seed, and we're able to weather the storm. LeBron's able to get fully healthy, which this rest in general is going to be huge. It's going to be huge for his body. It's going to be huge for his mind. It's going to allow him to kind of focus on just getting his foot right. And then once his foot is good, then he can come back. And now we got a healthy LeBron to kind of make that last push, especially if it is around the Bulls games. If we get to the Bulls, we only have like 8 games, right? From the first Bulls game on March 26th forward. That's only 8 games left. It'd be nice if he could kind of come back, get his legs under him, get ready for the playoffs. Maybe we go on a nice little run because that stretch of games are all very winnable, right? Play the Bulls twice, play the Timberwolves, then we play the Rockets, the Jazz, the Clippers, the Suns, and the Jazz again. So again, maybe the Clippers and the Suns probably our toughest matchups. But outside of that, I mean, the Bulls, we should at least win one. It's really hard to go back-to-back against a team and win, especially, the second game of the back-to-back is in Chicago. So I imagine we win at least one of those Bulls games. Love to see us get both, but the Bulls are solid. They're not great. Plus, Patrick Beverley's probably going to have one of those games where he just he turns back the clock and he's scores 30 points or something insane just because that's how it works for the Lakers. But if LeBron can get healthy around that time, then perfect. Now let's say we are 2 games over 500 going into that stretch with LeBron returning. Beautiful. Right now, we can make a push, try to get that 6th seed. Hopefully, we land the 6th seed. Then we got a Kings matchup in the first round. We got a healthy, fresh, ready to go LeBron. Anthony Davis is hopefully continuing to play at his monster level. We got D'Lo back. Everyone's hopefully healthy and ready to go. Now we can make this push for a deep playoff run. I think we can beat Sacramento in a 7-game series. And then we'd have that matchup against, the Grizzlies, right? Let's do that, Well, it depends on if the Grizzlies, see how that goes. But regardless, whoever's in front of us, doesn't matter. I really like how the Lakers match up, and I really like how the Lakers I really believe that they can go on a deep run and get this job done. That doesn't mean, will they? I mean, I don't know. But I do think that when you look at the teams in the West, I do think the Lakers, you can make an argument for every single team that we can beat them. We still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. D'Lo, he's that guy that's just a perfect complement as the third guy. Can play on the ball, can play off the ball, score at all 3 levels. A guy that can go get you 20 to 30 a night if you need him to. That really is helpful. Got Vanderbilt, who's like that Swiss Army knife, just defensive guy. We have everything, right? We have all the pieces we need to contend and actually win and come out the Western Conference. So there's really no excuses if we can get into the playoffs healthy and we can get into the playoffs in a reasonable spot. That's the thing too. If we're like the 9th or 10th seed and, let's say we do make the playoffs and we come in at that 8th seed, yes, I still believe we match up against the Nuggets well. I still believe we could beat the Nuggets, but it's just so hard. It really is. It is so hard because you have to win 2 straight games that are going to be just juggernaut games. It's going to be tough, right? You're going to be trying to kill yourself just to get into the playoffs. Then you get into the playoffs on no rest. And now you got to go play a 7-game series against the best team in the West and a team that's just been an absolute well-oiled machine all year, right? They have the 2nd best record in the league next to the Bucks, right? Again, I like the matchup. Just don't know if I like that in a 7-game series after us climbing and clawing to get into the playoffs. That becomes very tough. But regardless, if we get in, I like our chances. I think LeBron James, this could be good for him, kind of get a rest, but we have to start winning games, Again, right now we're at 500 without LeBron, but that's not going to be good enough, right? We got to start rattling off some more of these wins. Got to start game at a time. Take a game at a time. Start by going and getting that Memphis Grizzlies win. Then we get a couple days off, and then we go and face the Toronto Raptors and then the Knicks. We need to win. We need to win these next 4 games, 5 games at least. We need to beat the Raptors, beat the Knicks, beat the Pelicans, beat the Rockets, beat the Mavericks, right? That would give us 5 games. That'd put us at a 6-game winning streak. Then we go and we got the home stance against the Magic, the Suns, and the Thunder, and the Bulls, right? We got to control home court, right? We have these great stretches of home court. We got to win these games, right? You got the Grizzlies, the Raptors, the Knicks, the Grizzlies, the Raptors, the Knicks, all at home. And then you have the 2 road games against the Pelicans and the Rockets. And then you have the Mavericks, the Magic, the Suns, the Thunder, and the Bulls. That's 8 games at home. You, at the bare minimum, have to win all 8 of those home games. And at least the Rockets game, I'd like to win the Pelicans game too, because again, that's a very important game. But we've beaten them the last 2 times. We're going into New Orleans. Not saying we can't beat them, not saying we shouldn't beat them. But, I mean, if you win the other 8 games, now you're 4 games over 500. The Pelicans probably won't even get to 500, or will probably be a 500 team, maybe a game over. You're starting to put teams in your rearview mirror at that point, right? If we can get those home games, that would just be absolutely huge, or at least 7 out of those 8, right? Let's say you lose to, I don't know, the Suns, right? Okay, you lose to the Suns, or let's say the Knicks, right? Okay, right? But got to beat the Rockets, that's a no-brainer. They're a team that's tanking. They're not even trying to win games. You got to go get that W. We should be getting D'Lo back sooner, hopefully, rather than later. There's no word if he's going to be back for that Grizzlies game. Hopefully he does. If he is back for that Grizzly game, then that just adds more confidence that we should win that game, and we should win the rest of the games going forward. I would like him, to get a game under his belt or two before we start, playing the Knicks and the Pelicans and the Mavericks and the Suns, stuff like that. These tougher teams that are going to be rough. Not again, don't want to underestimate the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are going to be a tough game, but I think even without D'Lo, or even if D'Lo is a little clunky because he just got back from injury after missing 2 weeks or so, I still think that that's a game that we can win. But say D'Lo comes back against the Knicks, right? The Knicks are playing just such good basketball right now. They're on a 9-game win streak. At that point, it's very possible they're on a 10, 11 game win streak. You need a D'Lo that's ready to go. You might not be able to afford D'Lo having an off night and just struggling because he needs to get his legs back under him. So I'd like that game or two where he kind of gets back into the flow of things, gets back into his game, and then now we're ready to take on the good teams, get some of these wins, and then, again, make the push for the playoffs. We are still right there. We are. Right now, we are tied for the 10th seed. The Jazz, they should hopefully they should be taking an L today, right? Because the Pelicans, the Pelicans play today. We are tied with the Jazz, but the Pelicans play today. They lose. That puts them in the same position as us, and we have the tiebreaker, so that would move us into the 10th seed. Pelicans drop to 11th. Jazz go into 9th. So, again, that would just be massive for us. Now we're actually in a play-in spot rather than tied. And also, we have the Jazz 2 games towards the end of the season. So even if, for whatever reason, although the Jazz seem to be tanking, we should be able to overtake them in the last 2 games of the season where we face them. And just in general, right? The Lakers, there's no excuse for us to not at least make the play-in, right? I mean, again, the Jazz, they're going to fall out. The Pelicans may or may not. We're right there. We're already tied with them. We should be able to outpace the Jazz the rest of the season. And we play them twice. So we should win both of those games. And LeBron should be back by that point. So worst case scenario, we get into the playoffs. My concern is that we're the 11th seed come that Chicago Bulls time or something. And LeBron's there's no point in me coming back. Right? I'm going to come back. Yeah, we're going to get the 9th or 10th seed. And I'm going to have to kill myself and hurt myself again just to get us into the playoffs. And then we're just going to get swept in the first round or something like that, right? That's what I don't want to see. So the Lakers have to continue to win these games. They have to continue to climb this ladder. They have, one of the easiest schedules the rest of the way as far as teams faced. Grizzlies was one of their tough matchups. We just got a huge break in that game. We got to win these games that we can win. We got to win these games that we're capable of winning. Even a team like the Knicks, I know that they're hot. That's a winnable game, in my opinion. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? You excited for this news about LeBron James? Do you think we keep winning? Whatever you think, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below.